I was standing in line at a bakery when the woman in front of me turned around and apologized. She hadn't bumped into me. She hadn't cut the line. She hadn't done anything wrong. She just said, "Sorry," out of habit. And I remember thinking, I've lived my entire life like that. I'm 72 years old, and it took me 60 years to unlearn something most people never even realize they're doing. I lived to be liked. When I was a boy, being liked felt like safety. My father believed good children didn't cause friction. My mother believed good men didn't complain. So I learned early how to read a room. I learned when to nod, when to stay quiet, when to smooth things over before anyone even asked me to. I became the child adults praised because I was no trouble, and I mistook that praise for love. No one ever sat me down and said, "You're allowed to have needs." They just rewarded me when I didn't show them. That lesson stuck. I said yes when I wanted to say no. I smiled when I was exhausted. I agreed when my chest felt tight with disagreement. I became very good at making other people comfortable, even when it made me disappear. I carried that skill into my marriage. I let decisions slide because arguing felt selfish. I agreed to things I didn't want because harmony seemed more important than honesty. I told myself this was what commitment looked like. We rarely fought. People admired that. What they didn't see were the conversations I rehearsed in my head and never spoke out loud. Every time I chose peace on the outside, I created tension on the inside. I remember being 34, sitting in my car after work, engine off, hands still on the steering wheel. Not because I needed rest, but because I didn't want to go inside yet. Inside meant more expectations, more agreeing, more swallowing words I never learned how to say. I told myself that this was maturity, that being agreeable meant being kind, that sacrifice was noble. At work, it made me dependable. I was the one who stayed late when others left, the one who took on extra tasks without asking for credit, the one who said, "It's fine," even when it wasn't. Promotions went to louder people. Burnout came to me. And I accepted it because somewhere along the way, I learned that wanting more was ungrateful. But here's what no one tells you. You can lose yourself quietly and still look successful from the outside. I didn't realize I was people-pleasing. I thought I was being good. It wasn't until my late 50s that something cracked. A friend, not even a close one, asked me a simple question after I canceled plans for the third time. He said, "Do you actually want to come, or do you just feel bad saying no?" That question followed me home, followed me to bed, followed me into the next decade of my life, because I didn't know the answer. That's when I understood the truth I had avoided for years. When you live for others' approval, you slowly teach yourself that your own feelings don't matter. And once you learn that lesson, unlearning it is painful. I started small. The first time I said no on purpose, my hands shook. It was a small thing, a favor I didn't have the energy for. I rehearsed excuses in my head, but instead I said the truth. I can't. There was an awkward pause. Then
nothing happened. The world didn't collapse. And for the first time, I felt something unfamiliar. Relief. Some of the people around me didn't like the change. A few drifted away, and that hurt. But what hurt more was realizing how many relationships were built on my compliance, not my presence. At 72, here's what I know. Being kind does not mean being invisible. Love does not require self-erasure. And peace that costs you your identity is not peace. It's avoidance. When you get older, your tolerance for pretending disappears. You start measuring days differently, not by how much you accomplished, but by how honest you were, how light you felt at the end of them. I don't regret being kind. I regret confusing kindness with silence. There is a difference between generosity and self-betrayal. I just wish I had learned it sooner. And you know what the strangest part is? When I stopped trying so hard to be liked, the people who truly mattered stayed. And for the first time in my life, I could breathe around them. If you're listening to this and feeling something tighten inside you, pay attention to that. That's not weakness. That's awareness waking up. I don't have many decades left, but the ones I have now are finally mine. And if I could unlearn this at 60, you don't have to wait that long. If you acknowledge my confession made you any better, that's a relief from me. I wish everyone on the other side a great tomorrow. Be you. Be better. Stay safe.